Hello, folks. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the major features of the North Fork of the Shenandoah River, specifically as they relate to meandering streams. So here we're starting at the covered bridge in Mount Jackson, Virginia, and we're going to descend towards the stream and start off by looking at some of what makes a meandering stream a meandering stream. Now, this portion of the Shenandoah River does meander, but doesn't meander quite as much as it does, as we'll see later in the video, in other portions of the stream. If I were to give this portion of the stream, a Roskin classification, I would give it a C-type stream, probably a C4 or C5, where you have a lot of, or maybe C3, where you have a lot of bedrock and cobbles and stuff and pebbles. So larger materials. You can see down below. You can see lots of larger materials in the stream here, making up the stream bed. The stream meanders, but its sinuosity is a little lower. So the distance along the stream versus the straight line map distance of the stream, if you divide those two, you end up with a slightly smaller number than you do if you look at the Seven Bends area near Woodstock. Here we are again. This is the base of the covered bridge. You can see some riffle areas where rocks are building up. You can also see quite a bit of bedrock down here towards the bottom of the image, where you can see what looks like blocky types of forms. That's the limestone. So here, the river is flowing over limestones of various Ordovician age, and that's important. The limestones don't have as much control over the, uh, the course of the stream, as we'll see later. The shales on the Martinsburg do. The limestones here are still tilting, still dipping at a fairly decent angle into the ground, and so if you see the limestones protruding out, outcropping, they tend to outcrop at an angle. Here we're flying over very close to the thalweg of the stream, or the deepest portion of the stream. You can see the shadow of the trees on the right. The thalweg of the stream is where most of the water is traveling. It's also the sort of the main course of the stream, if you will. The water wants to move in a straight line for the most part until it encounters a bend or a meander in the stream. Here's some nice bedrock, by the way, and a young man fishing. Anyway, so you can see the bedrock outcropping there. The thalweg will move around depending on the stream's course. And of course, the stream's course is being controlled by a lot of different things, part of which is the amount of sediment supply and the type of sediment, along with the bedrock structure and so forth. So a lot of things are dictating the behavior of the stream along a reach like this. So there's some other features as we pan up here. We're going to look at the downstream here is a little bit. We're going to move towards the upstream area, and briefly we're going to look at these cobbledy banked areas, which you could call point bars. These are places where deposition is occurring as opposed to erosion. And of course, down here by Mount Jackson, this is a popular place to hang out. So in the next section of the video, we're gonna look more at the course of the Mount Jackson. We're gonna fly from above the bridge this time. You can see to the right of the bridge here, the thalweg really opening up. Here we're gonna look down the stream. We're gonna really look at the shape of its course here in this case. So as we pan up here, you're gonna see the stream is pretty straight. It meanders a little bit, a little jerky. This was one of my first drone flights years ago, but you can see that the stream is pretty straight going on up there. And as we move around towards the other direction, we're going to take a look at the stream going up the other direction down towards the town of Mount Jackson. And as we do that, you can see the water's a little muddy. And you can see how the meanders are really, really sort of gentle and kind of rolling along with the landscape. Very broad valley in this case, bounded on both sides by mountain ridges, but overall a very broad valley. A few hills here and there, but largely the stream is a decent size for the valley in which it resides. There's a stream again, going off in a relatively straight manner with some gentle meanders. Here we're going to look at we're looking at Macedon Mountains. I say mountains because there's actually more than one ridge, but technically speaking, we say Macedon Mountain, right? So here we're going to stop here. We're going to fly forward just a little bit. As we wrap up this portion of the video, we're eventually going to move into looking at a very different part of the stream. But as we float along here, you can kind of just get a sense again. The stream is not meandering in a tremendous way here. Some lovely farmland. It's Mims Bottom. That's where the corn maze usually is. Ah, here we are. This is taken from the road just below the tower, Woodstock Tower. So almost to the top of where the tower is on that road. And you can see some snowflakes flying around me. It was a very cold day that day, but you can see what the river's doing here. This is up near the Woodstock area. You can see the very, very tight and sort of distinctive meanders of the seven bends of the Shenandoah area. I would actually count there as being more than seven bends here, but you can see river terraces. You can see where the floodplain is very defined. The river is relatively entrenched, which means that it is inset into its valley deeper than it probably should be. So it's actually over deepened a bit. And this is a structural control. What I mean by that is that the bedrock here, the Martinsburg Formation shales, are tilted. They're dipping in at off of an angle that the meanders themselves, the bends, are actually controlled by the bedrock bedding planes, whereas the straightaways are connected by joints and fractures that occur perpendicular to those. All right, that brings us to the end of our video.